Dr. Srijan sir, you may start the session now.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is MMPC
Good afternoon,
012
sir.
Strategic Management, and I am your academic counselor, Srijan Kumar Singh. Right. So this subject MMPC 012 is divided into four blocks, and in first block there are three units which we'll cover today. Concept of strategy, strategic framework, and strategy in global context. These three units we'll cover today, and then in consecutive lectures we'll cover the rest of the blocks. Right. So the first unit is about concept of strategy. We'll go through this unit uh, quickly. The strategy, it's the so first we'll discuss definition of a strategy as uh, there are many authors and academicians who have defined strategies in their own ways. So the strategy is defined as a plan deployed at each level of management. You have to understand that the strategy is not meant only for a specific level of organization. Strategy is used at every level of the every level of the organization for the attainment of objectives. See, every organization has some objectives and some purpose to strive for. So to attain the objectives and realization of long term goals, now the word here is long term goals because business makes strategy for long term goals. For short term goals, though there are some words used which we'll discuss later in this presentation, like functional strategy and operational strategy, they are comparatively for shorter duration. But in general, we say that a strategy is for longer duration only. So there is a scholar Glubeck. He defined strategy as a strategy is the unified, comprehensive, and integrated plan that relates the strategic advantage to the organization to the challenges of the environment and designed to ensure that basic objective of enterprise are achieved through proper implementation process. So there are some two or three words which are important here in this definition, and the words are: first is, he said, it is unified, comprehensive, and integrated plan. There is you cannot make any a strategy in fragmentation. It should be comprehensive, unified, unidirectional, and all the factors which constituent a strategy should work in a single direction only. And why so? Because to ensure that, see here, to ensure that basic objectives of enterprise are achieved. As we discussed right now, that there are some objectives and say policies of the business which have to be met out, and the business formulate a strategy so that those objectives or say purpose could be fulfilled. Right. Next. Strategies are used as response to change in the environment. They are adopted in accordance with the strength and weakness. We'll discuss this later. That every organization has different types of strength and weaknesses. So the strategy should be in line with to the strategies and sorry to the strengths and weakness, so that we can make better use of the available resources. The main aim of framing strategies is to seek out the opportunities favored by external environment and mitigate the threats simultaneously. There are two basic things which every business would like to have, and those two things are: the first is to grab opportunities as maximum as possible, as better as possible, and to mitigate or reduce the threats as minimum as possible. So these are two things for which strategies are used. Strategy is organization pattern of response to its environment over a period of time to achieve its goal and mission. This definition lays stress on the following: organization pattern of response to its environment. This is one, because organization there is a pattern which is always seen in the strategies. See, it says organization pattern of response to its environment, and second is achieving goals and mission. Right. Next, strategy as action inclusive. Okay, I must tell you that all these study material is taken either from IGNOU study material or from reference books. So this PPT uh, strictly follow to the IGNOU study material, means the heading and the unit are strictly as given in the IGNOU study material. Though I have also included some images, graph, and charts for your reference, and so that you could understand the subject in a better way and write your answer properly. So you will find those images as well in the presentation. But this presentation is institutionalization of the IGNOU syllabus only. Right. So, study as action inclusive of objective study. This is the next topic. Chandler, a scholar in 1960s, he said, the determination of basic long-term goals and objectives of an enterprise and the adoption of the courses of action and the allocation of resources necessary for carrying out these goals. He said, see, courses of action are the activities or alternatives which a business selects in a given environment. Environment is these courses of action are always controllable, and a business can decide that which course of action is to be adopted and which is to be rejected. But the environment in which a specific course of action is to be taken is uncontrollable. Right. So he said the determination of basic long-term objectives and goals of an objective of an enterprise and the adoption of the courses of action and the allocation of resources. You all know that resources are scarce in nature, and that's what you must have studied or will study in economics. So he said uh, that which course of action should be adopted so that the proper allocation of resources can be done by carrying out or by or for achieving the goals or specific objectives. The definition provides for three types of action involved in the strategy. First is determination of long-term goals and objectives. We have studied in slide one that strategy is in general is defined as long is generally used for achieving long-term goals. So before defining, you have to say establish that what should be long-term goals. Second, adoption of course of action, which course of action should be adopted, which is controllable, and then allocation of resources. And all these three things uh, together makes definition given by Chandler. Next, features of strategy. Mintzberg in 2005 has given 5 P's for strategy, which integrates past, present, and the future course of action of a strategy. So 5 P's are pattern, plan, position, perspective, and ploy. We'll discuss all these 5 P's one by one. So first is pattern. Organization has been consistent in favor in following a particular course of action. Pattern shows the past behavior. Wherever the word pattern is used, it means it is showing past behavior. Because pattern means the trend which has already been established or which has already been followed by some specific company, organization, or could be anything. So pattern is something which has already been done, means it is your realized strategy. This is your strategy which has already been realized, which has already been practiced and achieved, right? Now second is plan. Now we are going to discuss in plan. That plan is something which is for future. So it says it means preparing for future, for looking ahead. It becomes an intended strategy. So the first one was realized strategy because it has already been realized in the past. And second is intended strategy because it is our intention or it is our objective to implement this strategy. If the intended strategy becomes realized strategy, means if realized strategy, what has already been done and accomplished, is equates to the intended strategy, then it becomes a deliberate strategy. Means the strategy or the plan or anything which already has been done and you are doing it, you are going to do it again and you successfully say achieve the objective, then it is your deliberate strategy because already has been done and you are willing to do it again, following it again. So it is a deliberate strategy. Next, third is position. In certain cases, especially in the niche market, see a niche market, if you have studied marketing, you must be aware about niche market. It is a specific market, it's a small segment with a specific specialized needs known as niche market. In certain cases, especially in the niche market, strategy is a position. Because in case of niche market, you have to use a positional strategy. And in the positional strategy, it says that you have to establish some distinguished feature about any product or any service or could be anything. So food chain wants to locate particular products in specific market, have to have the positional strategy in the mindset of customers. Now, next is perspective. Fourth is perspective. So the next perspective says strategy is a perspective, which means that a strategy looks at the vision of the organization. In position, it looks at external environment, whereas in perspective, it looks as internal environment. Ex, uh, the perspective should be is the internal environment because in internal environment the business perspective. See, business is running its own. There is an organization and it is running its own business and its process, everything. So the perspective is the internal component of any organization, whereas the position is the external component. Next is ploy. It is this is another way of looking at strategy. Ploy is the tactic used by the organization to outwit its competitors. Ploy, there is a word which is used here is tactic. We'll discuss it later in the same presentation. And there is difference between strategy and tactic. But ploy is the tactic or the plan which is used by the organization to outwit, to surpass the competitors. Now we'll discuss it later that what is tactic in detail. So now next topic is characteristics of strategic management. Uh, so by now we could understand that strategy is related to commitment of managers, executive action, and then systematic process. You cannot make a strategy in a haphazard way. Top level management. Also, there are middle level and lower level, but of course, the overall strategy of business are top level management strategies. It is a continuous process. it ends and means because you have to complete a task on and achieve the objective somehow. Then directive planning, dynamic process. It is not static in nature. Future oriented process, because if you are making a strategy, it is for the future references only. You cannot make a strategy for the past because past has already been gone. Now next is set of decision and actions. As we have discussed, that there are various environment and various courses of action which are essential part of strategy. Next, formal managerial process, because strategy is formulated in obviously a formal and managerial process. Now next is nature of strategy. Now in this nature of strategy, you will see repetition of the say words and concepts, because the nature of a strategy is derived from the definition and explanation of a strategy itself. So we'll go through it quickly. First, nature is, it is set of action. There is no single action which can make a strategy. And there are various situations and various activities or actions which combines together and makes a strategy. So it is set of actions. Now second point, it relates an organization with the environment, because no strategy can survive uh, in any environment, because for a specific environment specific strategies are formulated, and so strategies relate organization with the environment, so that an organization uh, can uh, can achieve its objectives in the given premises or given environment. Next is provide a structure. A strategy has a fundamental, roadmap for providing guidance to the enterprise for making relation, decision, and achieving organizational goals. See, achieving organizational goals is the key objective of making a strategy. Now, there could be any type of organization goals, which again we'll discuss later in the same presentation. Next is future oriented. This we have discussed already. That is strategy. The nature of a strategy is that it is future oriented, because the past has already been done, and the strategies are formulated for the future references only. This also has already been discussed, integrated approach, and a good strategy follow interactive approach for allocating internal resources and using them for benefit of entire organization. There is no single decision which can make a strategy. Next, sixth is involves contradictory actions. Strategy actions are influenced by environment factors. At times, certain decisions taken on the basis of the strategy may not be contradictory in nature. Right. Next is combination of internal and external factors. There are various internal factors and external. And to understand it in a general way, in a common way, anything which is related and resides inside the premises of an organization and can be controllable are internal. Anything which is uncontrollable and resides outside the organization, it is external factor. So, for example, all the strength and weaknesses are part of organization, where all the opportunities and threats are part of external environment. Next is system oriented. To work efficiently, strategy operates under a certain system that consists of rules and standards followed in the organization, and that's why we have discussed that the system of strategy is a formal system. Next, strategy management concept. Okay, it is a kind of revision that strategy management is a long-term process discussed already. Begins with the formulation of desirable future position. See, the word is desirable future position, right? Okay, for the organization, followed by decision regarding what is at the core of the organization. Next, third, setting up targets for reaching the future states, because if you want to reach at a future position, you have to set some specific targets as well, because the targets which you want to achieve. Next, enables an organization to obtain an edge over its competitors in the market by analyzing the resources available with the organization. See, it enables an organization to obtain an edge over its competitors, because if you formulate a good strategy, you can say get competitive advantage over the competitors if your strategy is good enough. Is formulating strategies for effective and efficient utilization of resources. Next, matches organizational capabilities with the environmental opportunities. Next is futuristics organization-wide process. This all we discussed. Okay. Now, next there is a difference between strategy and policy. So, if policy is a blueprint of the organizational activities. It is a layout of organizational activities which are repetitive or routine in nature, right? Whereas strategy is concerned with those organizational decisions which have not been dealt or faced before in the same form, because strategy is a blueprint which has already which is repetitive in nature to be followed, and strategy would be something which organization has never been experienced or never been felt. The policy formulation is responsibility of top level management, whereas strategy formulation is basically done by could be done by either top or maybe middle, right? Policy decision with routine daily activities essential for effective and efficient running of an organization, whereas strategy deals with strategy decisions for long-term decisions. Policy is concerned with both thought and actions, whereas strategy is concerned with mostly with the action. Policy is about what is and what is not done, whereas a strategy is the methodology used to achieve a target as prescribed by policy. Okay, fine. Now, next, the difference which we were discussing about the difference between strategies and tactics. So here we'll discuss the difference between strategies versus tactics. Strategies are long-term in nature, tactics are short-term in nature. Strategies are basic organizational plans, whereas tactics are supportive organizational plans. Strategies take general view of organization. Tactics are prepared for a specific purpose. Strategies are formulated by top level managers, whereas tactics are formulated by middle and lower level managers. Strategies are prepared to achieve organizational goals, whereas tactics help in execution of the strategies. Next, this helps in integrating organizational internal environment with its external environment, and tactics helps in integrating various aspects of organization's internal environment only, whereas strategy helps in the integration of internal as well as external environment. Right. Next is levels of strategy. There are some in some books there are 4 levels of strategy, but in English study material there are 3 levels of strategy: corporate, business, and functional. And the books where there is fourth strategy is also given is corporate level, business level, functional level, and just a minute.
Operational level.
Sir, yes, sir. Just let me write it. Thank you so much. Now, fourth is operational level. So we will discuss here 3 levels only, because functional level and operational levels are quite the same. But in some organization, yes, you can differentiate between functional and operational. So we'll discuss in this presentation 3 levels of strategies: corporate level, business level, and third one is functional level. Right. So first one is operational level strategies. Corporate level strategies. Corporate level strategies guide an organization to become what it wants to be in order to maximize performance level. Corporate strategies obviously are formulated at corporate level, and the purpose of this of formulating these strategies is to say to decide, to establish that what our organization is going to do in future, in very long term, to maximize the gains or the to achieve the objectives in very long run period. Corporate level strategies or corporate strategies are plans of top level management developed for supervising the overall functioning of the enterprise, right? Okay. Fine. Let's example. For example, the efforts of Nokia to launch its own operating system failed in year 2011. So Microsoft and Nokia formed an alliance in which Nokia agreed to produce smartphones with the Windows operating system. Though using Windows operating system was a double-edged sword for Nokia because Nokia, on one hand, there were some benefits to Nokia as well, and on the other hand, the Android was giving threat to Nokia. It's a different thing, but it could be an example of a corporate level strategy when Nokia decided to make an alliance with Microsoft and Nokia used its Microsoft operating system and then launched its phones. So these are this is an example of corporate level strategy, and these decisions are taken on top level management. Now, second is business strategy. Business level strategy. Business level strategies are also called business strategies or strategic business unit level strategy. So, SBU or strategic business unit is based on the idea of recognizing the separate market segment category by the company. Business strategies are formulated differently for each segment due to difference in their environment condition. See, business finds different types of segment because every type of segment could have the different nature, and on the basis of different nature and on the basis of say a difference in the properties of environment, the specific strategies are used. And these specific strategies are known as strategic business unit level strategies. The business level strategies are formulated to satisfy the need of the consumers. The same thing is here to satisfy the need of the consumers of different segments and also to provide value to them. Value is worth providing worth to the customers of different environment of different segments. So making a strategy for different segment for different markets or sub markets comes under business level strategy. For example, Domino's Pizza owns positive effect due to the organization-wide efforts of achieving a simple and clear goal that was have a clear win against competitors in taste test. Domino's is using a strategy for a specific segment, specific market. Uh, in say because taste is the only course of business of Domino's, so Domino's is capturing various segments of market by providing differentiated say taste, and that's why they have veg pizza, non-veg pizza, and n number of pizzas and say food available for veg and for the non-veg as well. Next is functional strategy. A functional level of organization provides input to higher level strategies such as business level and corporate level strategy and convert them to the action plan. So merely formulating a strategy is not say enough for any business, because if a strategy is formulated, it should be implemented as well. Means it should be converted into action. So the function level strategy says that a business. Just a minute. My this. Okay, just a minute. Okay. Right. So it says to convert the strategies into action comes under functional level strategies. These action plans are needed to be carried out for a strategy to be successful. Uh, because to make any strategy successful, you have to have make it implement, and that's where this functional strategies comes in, right? So this one. Now, next, these action plans are needed to be carried out for strategies to be successful. Higher level strategies depend on the functional level for information regarding resources and capabilities, on the basis of which strategies are business and corporate level are formulated. All the strategies which have been formulated, now you have to make a strategy so that these guidelines or strategy or future or broader plans could be implemented. Right. Functional level denotes the operating division level and apartment in an organization such as marketing, finance, HR, IT, manufacturing, research development, etc. You have to say implement all these uh, the strategy in these plans. Now, next example. A marketing strategy can be broken into various function levels such as pricing strategy, promotion strategy, distribution strategy, sales strategy, even finance strategy can be, say, broken into various levels. Okay. Now, next is functional strategy defines day-to-day action needed to deliver corporate and business strategies, relationship between business units, departments, and teams, and how functional goals will be met and monitored. The summary of all these 3 points is only one. That once a strategy is formulated, once a strategy is formulated, you have to implement it and you have to make some action. That's what functional strategy. Do. Next, importance. Okay, provide direction and action plan, because strategies are the only say broader plans which gives direction and action. Direction to the business, that what to do, what not to do. Next, identify trend and opportunities. Identifying trends and opportunities. If you are strategy, the only thing strategy is the only broader plan your though it is not a plan, but it is the broader formal structure which has been formulated so that you can identify trends and opportunities, define accountabilities of the specific persons, improve communication, allocation of resources, framework of decision making, making framework of decision, and competitive advantage. So we will go through these points quickly. Provide action and action plan. A strategy provides an organization with the right direction which need to be followed for attaining the targets. It gives clear cut and detailed plan of action for reaching the desired position in future. Fine. Okay. Next, second. Identifying trends and opportunities. Identify various market trends and future opportunities available for a business organization. So, strategy examines the variations in markets such as social and political technological changes as well as the customer changes, and the reason that's the reason that strategy can provide us some trends and opportunities available. It develops tactics accordingly so that a business can adjust itself to a future to the future changes. Next is define accountabilities. Strategies clearly define the line of accountability with the business enterprise. It also set the timelines for attaining desired results on agreed strategic initiatives. So defining time and who will be accountable, who shall be responsible for the specific task. All these things are can be established by the strategies. Improve communication and commitment. It enhances the overall level of communication and commitment within the organization by clarifying the vision and accountabilities. We'll discuss this vision later in the uh, presentation. So, proper strategies plan aligns all activities of the business and fosters commitment at each level. Okay, next is allocation of resources. This we have already discussed. Right, allocation of resources is a must for any organization, and be it a large organization or small organization, irrespective of the level and type of organization, the effective allocation of resources is essential. And if we have a strategy in advance beforehand, then we can do it in appropriate way. Next is provide framework for decision making. The strategy provides a well-defined framework for decision making to business enterprise. It gives a reference point for decisions as each of them need to support the strategy. Business needs to plan on daily basis for its routine activities on the regular basis. Okay. Next is competitive advantage. This we have discussed twice or thrice in this presentation as well. That if we have a better strategy for the future, then we can get edge over competitors. Now we'll move to unit 2. Unit 1 took a lot of time, so we'll try to cover unit 2 and 3 quickly in the rest half an hour. So, Unit 2 is about a strategic framework, and a strategic framework is a structured method used to define how a project or initiative supports a key objective of a stakeholder. There are four components, and these four components are business objectives, approach, measurement, and target. Business objective: what will the project or initiative achieve? Means what we are going to do, and then how will the achievement be realized, and then measurement: how will the achievement be measured and reported, that how much is the say growth or development or achievement, so measurement of that. And then target: what is the forecasted improvement that will define the success, your target. Now next is strategic management process. uh, First, there is a strategic intent, then a strategy analysis, formulation, choice of strategy, strategy implementation, and strategy evaluation and control. Now, we'll discuss all these six stages one by one. The first is strategic intent. Strategic intent is the direction which an organization adopts or derives drives its operations in a particular manner to achieve the expected outcome. Intent is your intention or your direction, which has already been defined properly, and it gives an objective or a way so that we can achieve the expected outcome. Strategic intent is the term used to describe the aspirational plans, overarching purpose, or intended direction of travel needed to reach an organizational vision. Okay. Real world example. Let's discuss a real world example of strategic intent. For example, Japan. We are taking example of Honda in Japan. Sometimes ago, Honda made a decision to enter in motorcycle market, but rather than look to imitate Harley Davidson or Yamaha's success, because these two were very popular at the time, successful at the time, Honda chose to uh, start with products that were intentionally different, right? Competitors didn't see Honda as threats, and initially they thought Yamaha and Harley that we are the market leaders and Honda will not pose any threat initially. But by carving out new space, Honda developed a loyal customer base and a strong brand recognition. And Honda started giving a tough competition to Harley and Yamaha in Japan. That allowed Honda to attack competitors from a position of strength. Honda took a long-term approach with customized blueprint that ultimately won market share. Finally, okay. Next is hierarchy of strategic intent. Hierarchy of strategic intent. This is hierarchy of strategic intent: vision, core values, mission, objectives, and comes strategy. Okay, so next is vision. So vision is like a dream, not actually dream, but it is a future or very far oriented objective. So it is future oriented concept of business. Forming a strategic vision is an exercise in thinking about where a company needs to head to be successful. Vision is a mental image. Vision is a mental image that where do you want your company to be successful. There is one interesting thing about vision is that you might not see the possibility of success or possibility of completion or achievement of that mental image in present, but in distant future there could be possibilities or opportunities which would be helpful for the achieving the vision or that mental image, right? So vision and mental image of a possible and desirable future state of an organization. A vision describes aspirations for the future, a destination for the organization. We can say that a vision is a dream, a distant or a long-term dream. For example, the distant vision of Tata is to make India self-reliant in steel production. At present, it looks very difficult to be realized that how India can be self-reliant and self-sufficient in making steel production. But there could be possibilities in future that somehow India could be self-reliant in steel production. So that's what we call a vision. And organization's vision, which is often called purpose of the organization, is designed to express the fundamental reasons for the organization's existence. Okay. Now, characteristics of vision: positive and future focused, creates single purpose for the organization for which organizations strive for, clear and easy to understand image, challenging and ambitious, inspiring and appealing place to strive for. All internal and external stakeholders can buy into it, means can take part of it. Work on rational and emotional level, can be related to daily activities, affects people behavior, guides decision and prioritize of efforts. Next is core values and core purpose. Core values are the essential and enduring benefits of an organization. They may be benefits of top management regarding employees' welfare, customers' interest, and shareholder wealth, could be anything, or maybe ethics, or innovation, or trust, excellence, teamwork, responsibility, could be anything. Right. The benefits may have economic orientation or the social orientation, could be either of them or both of them. Next is core purpose. Core purpose is a reason for existence. Its reasoning needs are to be spelled clearly. Means organization reasoning are need to be spelled clearly. The characteristics of core purpose are as follows. It is the overall reason for existence. It is why of an organization. It is mainly addresses to the issues which an organization desires to achieve internally. It is the broad philosophical long-term rationale. It is linkage of organization with its own people, core purpose. Now, next is mission. So first was vision, a very long term, say, statement or a dream or aspiration. Now, next comes mission. Mission, in general, you can say that mission is a part of vision. In general, we can say it. So, mission is unanimity of purpose, is about resource allocation, organization climate, focal point of work structure, and all these things uh, are formulated so that our vision could be achieved in distant future. So it also say it also deals with enduring statement of purpose, distinguishes one firm from the other, declares the firm's reason for being. The mission of an organization incorporates the activities undertaken by the organization. It highlights the market target by the organization, technologies adopted, and the products and services offered. The mission segregates the thing which we're discussing. The mission segregates the organization from the other organizations in an industry. The aim of mission statement is to answer question what an organization does. In other words, it discusses the extent and spread of organization's operations. Now, features. It must be feasible and attainable. It must be clear enough. It has to be precise. The formulated mission should not be too broad or too narrow. It should be precise and appropriate. It must be unique and distinctive to leave an impact on everyone's minds. It should be inspiring for the management staff and society at a large. Next is objectives and goals. Mission statements are qualitative statements which are needed to be converted into more practical terms. Therefore, they are followed by objectives and goals because they are say qualitative in nature, and because they can tell you the quantifiable variables of the work done or the target achieved. Therefore, they are followed by objectives. Fine. Objectives and goals are measurable forms of target which an organization wants to achieve, right? So they break the qualitative mission statement into targets and aims which can be measured. Fine. Therefore, the objectives and goals statements which enables the management to measure the outcomes and process. Okay. Now there is a slight, a minute difference between goals and objectives. Let's discuss the difference. The goals are the achievable outcomes which are made for long term and specify which is to be achieved in broad sense. This one. Objectives are the short term actions which include specific tasks required to fulfill the long term goals. Now, next, traits of an effective objective. It should be precise, clear, measurable, logical, practical, consistent with mission and thereby vision in long run, and it should produce outcomes. Next topic is strategic analysis. Strategic analysis involves the analysis of internal and external environment of the organization. It is conducted to ascertain the circumstances under which the organization is operating for purpose of the strategy formulation. The major component of strategy are conducting the environmental analysis, assessing the existing strategies to check whether they fulfill goals, evaluate various strategic alternatives, and adopting most viable strategy. Now, in strategic analysis, the business done focus on SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. These two parts, strength and weakness, are related to internal components of any organization, whereas opportunities and threats are uncontrollable and external factor. There is one more, way to analyze strategy, and it is TWOS, TOS. It is nothing but reverse of sort. It is threat, opportunity, threat, weakness, opportunity, and strength. It says that first we have to focus on threat and weakness, and then we can pay attention on opportunities and strength. They're the same thing, but these are two the basic ways by which the strategy of business can be analyzed. Next is strategy formulation. Formulation of strategy involves developing strategies at various level of business and organization. Strategies are required to be formulated at global level, corporate level, and even the functional. This we are discussed. Strategy formulation is processed by strategic direction, which are shown by organization, vision, mission, and objective. Fine. Strategic implementation. Okay, now let's discuss implementation. Strategic implementation is the state where the formulated strategies are executed, means are converted into action. It is the phase of activating the strategies. Implementation of strategies involved exercising control over strategies while they are being implemented. Strategic implementation is the process of converting strategies into practice. Fine. Strategic implementation involves following design goals, motivating employees, and establishing the leadership. And next is strategic evaluation. and control. This is the final phase of the strategic planning process. This step ensures that then perform corrective actions. So strategy evaluation control is an ongoing process. There are two basic approach of evaluation and control. The first is traditional method and second is modern approach. The traditional method of evaluation and controlling involves establishing standards, measurement of actual performance and drawing comparison between the actual performance and standard performance to find deviation. Whereas in modern approach pushes for continuous and ongoing evaluation of strategic planning and implementation. The continuous evaluation is required in case of long period of time along with the traditional method. So the basic difference is that in this we establish standards and then we measure and we compare the established and the actual performance. But in modern approach, it is continuous evaluation. That's the basic difference. Corrective actions are taken if deviations are found in case of traditional method. In case of modern approach, it involves exercising and control by the way of monitoring strategies as they are being executed, finding problems, and undertaking corrective measures. Okay, now Unit 3, strategy in global context. I don't think that we would be able to finish this unit today itself, but okay, let's try. In this unit, we'll discuss strategy and strategic management in global context, in international context. So, an organization can go international by crossing domestic borders as it employs any of the strategies we all know about it. Next, international expansion involves establishing significant market interest and operations outside an organization's home nation. When business work outside its home nation, it usually say in general we say it global business. Though there are some two or three types by which a business can go beyond the boundaries. We'll discuss later in the same presentation. Foreign markets provide additional sales opportunity for an organization, and that may be constrained by the relatively small size of its domestic market, and also reduces the organization's dependence on the single national market, because in global we can go beyond the domestic boundaries. International expansion creates various risks such as political risk, economical risk, uh, cultural risk. Various kinds of risks are also imposed when we go beyond the domestic boundaries. So, in case of business organization, the surrounding environment is called business environment, and business environment is of two types: internal environment and external environment. In internal, all the things are controllable and within the premises of business: value system, mission, objective, corporate, labor unions, which are formed by organization. And in macro environment, organizations, customers, say government, suppliers, intermediaries, economical, political, technical, global, socio cultural, and demographical, say pressure or changes which are uncontrollable in nature. They all the factors which are uncontrollable comes under external environment, and the factors which are controllable comes under internal environment. Next, environmental analysis in global context. International business has a necessity. Okay, fine, right. So because international business has a necessity to assess the requirement of international market, because until and unless you won't understand the international market, you won't be able to do your business beyond the say domestic boundaries. So you have to first understand the international business. Environmental scanning includes scanning the internal as well as external environment. As far as the internal environment is concerned, say salt or TOS would be sufficient to say assessing the internal environment. But in case of external environment, there are various methods and various tactics by which we can analyze external environment. And the first of them is pest analysis. If you are going to say assessing the external environment, you have to conduct pest analysis. Means you have to study about political, economical, social, technological, environmental, and legal uh, components of the external environment. So, in PESTEL, which is acronym for PESTEL means political. In political, you the business have to study the government policies, political corruption level, foreign trade, tax policy, labor union, trade restrictions, etc. In economical, the factors related to economy are studied and assessed. For example, economic growth, exchange rate, various interest rate, inflation or deflation, etc. In case of just a minute, let me say, okay, right now, fine, okay. Now, in this, related to societies such as population, growth rate, age, career, their marital status, and their health issues, lifestyle, etc. In technological, the technological advancements and status of the environment is studied and assessed. In environmental, the environmental factors are assessed, such as weather, climate, environmental climate change, pressure from NGO, etc., and then legal environment, which are assessed and discussed in the legal environment of the external under the external environment. So this is a technique, pastoral technique. Next, global strategic alternatives. There could be four types of alternatives: international, multi-domestic, global, and transactional, by which a company can go beyond boundaries. In international, it focuses on import and export, and usually have their headquarter in home. General challenge faced in this are managing global logistics, adhering to foreign regulations, setting up overseas offices, and more. For example, wine producers from France or Italy, or maybe Swiss watches. Multi-domestic, here business focuses on a local market and have decentralized structure. These have headquarter in home as well as in foreign countries, and hence operates independently with the little interference from central headquarter. For example, Nestle. Global, it is opposite of multi-domestic. It leverages economies of scale to extend reach and sales. It also, as hub and spoke model, focus on both home and foreign operations. And in transactional, it is most complex strategy. It is combination of global and multi-domestic strategies. Now, this diagram can help you to understand all these four types uh, in a better way. So let's start with global. There is a headquarter in a home, say, country, and then there are various, say, branches or companies established in other countries. This is global. In transactional, they both are in contact, in communication with each other, and with the headquarter as well. In international, there is one, and that headquarter is controlling every other units. And in multi-domestic, as we have discussed here, focuses on local market with a decentralized structure. And there is one more thing we all can discussed as per the requirement of local markets. Now, international entry modes. How can a business enter in international market? First is exporting. In exporting, domestic firm manufactures something and they export to beyond the they export beyond the uh, domestic boundaries. So, exporting involves marketing of domestically produced goods in a foreign nation. It does not entail new investment since exporting does not require separate production facility in the target nation. Fine. Next is licensing. In licensing, gives permit to an organization in the target nation to use property of licensor, such as property usually is intangible. Just for example, trademarks, patent, producing rights, etc. They give it, and then the other person, other business produce it. A joint venture. A joint venture is a combination of two or more parties to seek development of single enterprise or for project or profit. And one of the example we have discussed as Nokia and say, Microsoft, sharing the risk associated with the development. Next is direct investment. In direct investment, it is the ownership of facility in the target nation. The business goes beyond national boundaries and then directly invest in form of say including capital, technology, or personnel. This is what we call direct investment. Okay, next framework is EPRG framework. It is similar to PESTEL framework, though there is some difference. In EPRG framework, stands for ethnocentric, P is polycentric, R is region-centric, regiocentric, and G is geocentric. So, ethnocentric is home country oriented, polycentric is host country oriented. When your orientation is home country, it is ethnocentric. When orientation is host country, it is polycentric. When the say prime importance is to region, it is regional country oriented, then it is regiocentric, and when it is world centric as a whole, it is geocentric. So let's see the difference between say centrism, polycentrism, geocentrism, and regiocentrism. So in ethnocentrism, the main decision made in the main headquarter. The in polycentric role, lower role of the main headquarter. The main decision made in the regional quarter in case of regiocentrism. In case of geocentrism, collaboration with the local headquarters. Okay, so in ethnocentric, home standards applied on all market. In case of polycentric, local standards will be applied. In regiocentric, regional standards will be applied, and in a geocentric, universal standards will be applied. Okay, then okay, now this one identification with the owner identity in case of ethnocentrism because it is concerned with home country orientation, then it is oriented towards the host country. So the identification with the nationality of host country will be here. In case of regiocentric, the orientation will be regional centric. So identification will be the region, and then last one is a global view, right? Okay.
Srijan sir,
So
hello.
it was hello.
Sir, Dr. Srijan sir, I think you may complete the session
Ma'am,
within
ma'am.
1 or 2 minutes
Sure, ma'am.
since
Sure, ma'am.
Dr.
Ma'am.
Sarvagya
Sure.
Shukla sir has joined us.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Ma'am, it was the last slide of Unit 3 and it is end of Block 1. I request participants to please be here just for 1 more minute so that I can say take a screenshot of the attendance. Just 1 minute. Just one. Actually, ma'am, my objective was to complete a block 1 today, so it took time. So I'll take care of it from next office. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.